Hey guys, I'm Adam from Amtac Suppressors. I'm back in my reloading room again today, and we're doing another piece on our video series about how to speed up your reloading process, specifically brass prep, and in this case, trimming. Trimming is not really a whole lot of fun, especially if you're using an old manual like I used to do. When I was reloading 50 or 100 pieces at a time, this worked out all right. I just took off the little crank thing, put a drill on there, trimmed my length, and then I went to a little prep station to do the dechamfer and deburr. Unfortunately, once I started shooting 3-gun and I was loading thousands and thousands at a time instead of 50 and 100 at a time, that got real old in a real big hurry. So I went on a search for a new trimmer, and what I finally landed on after trying a whole bunch of different options was the Henderson Precision Tri-Trim. I know a whole bunch of people just yelled to their computer monitor and said, dude, you blew it. You should have got the Dillon trimmer that you mount on your press so you trim during your sizing process. And they might be right and they might be wrong. I think it just depends on what you're doing specifically and what's important to you. If you're only sizing one type of brass, you're only sizing 223, I think the Dillon is a really good option. It sizes during your, or it trims during your sizing process, which makes it pretty fast. The real drawback to it is if you're sizing something else, like 6.5 Creedmoor, you have to reset your entire press and adjust that trimmer in order to size another size. With this guy, changing over calibers is really easy. You just unscrew this little guy here. This is my 223. You just put in your 6.5, you thread it in. Even with that, you have to do a little caliber conversion on the front, so you just pop out a single Allen screw, pull that off, put a new one on, and that's it. So if you're not changing bullet diameter, your changeover is, I don't know, whatever that just took, 15 seconds. If you are changing your bullet diameter, you're looking at like maybe a minute, worst case scenario. And you don't have to adjust anything when you're done. I can take this out, switch it, put whatever I want back in, and it's going to be adjusted for the caliber that I want to trim as long as I adjusted that before. So the changeover is really fast. The other thing I really like about this one is this dechamfers and deburrs at the same time it trims, where the Dillon one does not. So if you're just loading a bunch of hoser stuff and you're not really worried about having a nice chamfer in there, and you feel like you can count on the tumbling process to knock off burrs on the outside, then that works just fine. I like to have a nice chamfer and want to make sure the outside of my brass is deburred really well. So this cuts the prep station portion out of my brass prep process. So it's, it's a debate. I don't think there's really a right or wrong answer. This is just where I landed, and I'm pretty happy with the choice. The way that this guy works, you want to throw on some glasses, of course. My dog ate my glasses, but, they still fit. And this guy comes with a little thimble here. The way that I do it, I just put the thimble between my first and middle finger, and I kind of stack my two thumbs on it like that. I just hold the thimble here. You put your piece of brass in there. You just clamp down the trigger. You can use a corded drill or a cordless drill. I just use a corded drill, and then I put in the battery. That's it. You run it in, run it out. It's trimmed, it's dechamfered, it's deburred. And what I do to speed up my process, like I said in the earlier video, I have a lot of bins. This is my bin for brass that has been trimmed, so I just drop it straight into this bin, and I just kind of put a little downward angle on this thing, so when I bring this back, I just strip that off and put a new one in and go. So I'm just going to trim a few here just to kind of show you guys how the process works. So as you can see, it's pretty darn fast. Brass is very well done. Nice, smooth chamfer in there. No burrs whatsoever. Length is really consistent within the thousands. If you guys have any questions about this trimmer, you're debating a little bit why I chose this one over the Dillon. Like I said, there's really not a bad choice there. They're both pretty darn good. This is just the one that I think works the best for my needs. If you have any of those questions, go ahead and leave them up in the comments. And in the next couple days here, we're going to have another video on the next step in the process.